computer parts on YouTube.
That's
Woo! You gotta be pumped on that, right, Will? Computer parts! Woo!
Oh, yeah.
When you think of the mistakes AMD's made over the years when it pertains to flagship GPUs, I mean, the list could fill an entire Wikipedia article. AMD's flagship mistakes. But when you really get into it and think about it, the one I think of usually is the Fury X. So much hype around the Fury X, so much hype with its ability to beat the 980 and then maybe the 980 Ti. But when it released, it was super late, and when it came out, we found out it has a damn water cooler strapped to it. They thought, we need to overclock the snot out of this card, we need to keep our hat in the ring, and we need to make it expensive and include a pump and a rad and a fan and all this stuff on our card and keep competitive with the 980 Ti, and then it didn't matter, it didn't do anything. It was just a complete disaster. So, yeah, that's what we're here to talk about today. Not the Fury Nano, R9 Nano, whatever you want to call it. Here to talk about this guy, because I got one of these guys, Fury X, and it's got some problems, and it's, let me think, it's a pretty good video to make on the reasons why you shouldn't buy a hybrid card, nor should you produce one. Now, there are some good reasons to buy a hybrid card, like you want to buy a 2080 Ti, 2080, 1080, you know, something like that, and get the best overclocks possible out of it. I mean, this thing runs at like 55 degrees, full tilt, full stress test, man. It can really work out well. But the problem with this guy here is, well, check it out. Yes, so much fluid has escaped from this guy that it sounds absolutely scary, and really, it hurts like my teeth. I feel it in my jaw, I feel it in my bones when that pump's trying to get enough fluid through it to start the loop and pump the loop. So not only do you have something that, you know, has a lot more points of failure, you know, a fan goes on a GPU, you're probably gonna be okay. The pump goes on this, who knows what's gonna happen? It could also leak. It could also evaporate, apparently. The water can just evaporate out of it. So I've got a Fury X here, and today, rather than just do this off camera, I thought I'd do a little video on switching the fluid in this thing, because it needs to be done. There's not enough fluid in this thing for it to operate properly, even though I was thinking maybe the temperatures would be increased, like would be decreased by me fixing that, but I ran stress tests once I jiggled this thing and figured it out and got the pump working properly with what little fluids left in it. It actually stays at like 50, 55, 60 degrees during a Firestrike stress test. So it's really a pretty damn decent solution for what's going on here. The Fury's actually not all that powerful, especially compared to some of the higher end Vega GPUs and stuff we're used to these days. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and we're going to fix this loop. I'll probably take it apart and change the thermal paste on it as well. It's a working Fury X, and I want one in my little collection, but I had to buy some stuff so we could do this. So I got, of course, some distilled water. Now, we could put some sort of glycol on this, but I'm not going to do it because I think water should be just fine. I bought this also so I could flush the loop out, guarantee what's in this isn't going to look so great. I have taken apart an old AIO before, and there were lots of little chunks of stuff. I'm imagining we're going to see some of this in here, but we're going to take it apart, see what the fluid looks like, fill her back up with some distilled water. But we have some issues in doing this, so that's why I bought this. It's got like a pump on it, like it's got a little presser. It's for putting oil on stuff, but we're going to use it as a funnel because I'll be able to plug it into the end of the rad in order to cycle through things, and then I can put this back on and actually pump some water through it, because this is not going to be anywhere near as easy as just a normal AIO, because how am I supposed to cycle the pump on this? Normally I'd hook up a power supply that has a fan output on it. turn the power supply on, it would turn the pump on. But in order to do that on this, I'm going to have to plug it into a motherboard, plug two 8-pin connectors on it, and have it next to a motherboard. Well, half of it's disconnected. So I'm hoping I can get away with just like kind of pushing the fluid through with this this pump thing. But yeah, I guess let's just figure it out and we'll start getting to work here. So we've got a little camera up here. This is our guy, Fury. It's got a nice fan and a nice big rad on it. Actually, fairly decent. Got some bowls and stuff. But yeah, I guess we'll get to it. So we want to keep the electronics of the card as far away from where we're going to open this thing up. We're going to just start. We're just going to start. We're just going to get right into it. Oh God, it's already happening. That was not what I wanted to do. Shit. There we go. It definitely has a smell to it, so it's not just water, it's definitely some sort of glycol. So, like, they don't make these serviceable at all, which is super annoying. They make any AIO really serviceable. There's a few manufacturers that do, but I was hoping to get this off here. There we go. Oh! Alright, we'll just dump it. Hopefully gravity will do the work. Just get it everywhere, god damn it. I should get a pump. And is that what I should do? Get another pump? No, it'd be too hard to connect them all. So if I cut it off like here, maybe here. Can I stick it back on? Okay, I can. Get the fan off of there so it's not getting full of fluid. See, I was hoping to stick this in here and just pump water through it. That'd probably work, eh? Put that on there and start pumping. You know what? For all you guys out there that are going, holy shit, he's really botching this, you tell me how you would do it. Alrighty, I got a few more things here. I'm really second guessing doing this without getting the appropriate worm gear, stuff like that. But hey, we'll figure it out. So rather than blowing in it, I'm going to shoot some compressed air in here and hopefully get... No, my new camera! No! There's a computer over there that just got soaked, but what do you do? Camera's still on, so it can't be that wet. Let's fill her back up with the glycol that was in it. Doesn't seem to be like gross or anything. There wasn't really any particulates floating around in it. So adding a little bit of water will dilute it a bit, but then it'll at least retain some of its anti-corrosive properties. There, this is what I'm looking for. Now we pump. Try and get, I don't think it holds that much, this loop. It's already starting to fall out. I'm sure there's some air bubbles in there, but... Alright, so I'm going to have to waste this water here. I'm going to have to fill it all the way up to the port line, the fill port on this. There we go. So that I can pump water through it from the top and then hopefully like kind of pinch it on and then pinch it off and then put it on there and cross my fingers that this works. So I've got my worm gear here. It is way too big, but we're going to try and do something about that. So I'll put that down here. So I'm going to put some electrical tape around the edge that I'm going to crimp to give it a bit of a wider area for the worm gear to clamp on. That should be good. All right, pumping on. Now, there we go. Tightening of the worm gear now. Did this work? I have no idea. Plus there's water everywhere. Water on the card. Probably shouldn't put the card in the system and test it out for a minute here.
A few moments later.
Okay, so I have it here, ready to install. Leak proof, I'm hoping. Definitely didn't get enough fluid inside of it. Not like that. There is air inside the system. I tried all I could. There's no, without some specialized equipment or something set up better, it just wasn't happening. Moment of truth here. It's definitely still making the same noises. You hear that? That went really well.
One eternity later.
Alright, I'm done. I'm done. It's enough. Unfortunately, I don't know what to do at this point. So, to sum up things, the card was making all kinds of bad noises. If you install it, it takes forever to figure itself out. Makes terrible pump noises. There's obviously not enough fluid in it. So, thinking this is going to be a quick video, I'm going to take a piece off of it, fill it up with some water. It's going to be fine. It's going to be easy. Then when I start taking it apart, I realize you can't run the pump in order to get rid of the air that's in the system once you do add some fluid to it. So you can't just plug it into a power supply. It plugs in on the PCB. So I try and I fail, and then I'm thinking, well, I'm dumb. I really ruined this. I should have. There's a fill port on here. I should have taken the card apart. So I just took the card apart. I tried to open that fill port, and look at this, okay? I try to get this little pin out, and I can't get anything onto it, like to get it out. So if you have any, notion on how to get that little pin out, not to mention I had to bend the card all to hell in order to get it out of there because they've got this copper piece that's like adhesive to the underside, like the frame block here or whatever, like the frame for the whole thing. So I'm at a loss. So I'm thinking maybe I can take my broken Nano apart and use the cooler somehow on it, because there's an issue with using any sort of other cooler, which I will explain in a second. So no, it doesn't match up. These are totally different PCBs, as you can see. They're not the same. So you can't, the chokes are too big on this for it to match up with this. So it just doesn't work. So then you think maybe you'll use an Accelero on it. Can't use an Accelero because look at I've got the screws and pretty much the widest pegs there. Look at the difference there. And that's because the die on this thing is so big that they had to make a new spacing standard. And it's the same with Vega and Radeon 7. They have a very big spacing on them because the GPU die is humongous because it's got HBM on it and it's a big die to begin with. So you can't use this. Can't use an Accelero. What is there for options? Well, you could buy a broken card maybe and pray that it's got, the problems with it aren't, the cooling solution, and then swap them over maybe. Or there are still full cover water blocks out there for the thing. Unfortunately, they're like $100 USD. And why would you buy a $100 cooling solution that's inconvenient as hell? You have to have it set up and put it in a water loop and all that stuff. Why would you do that on a card that's worth $200? So I'm at a loss. I'm here, I don't know what to do. I'm likely to just put this back together and never use it again because although this PCB works fine and it's a great little card, it's 1440p card still, I can't cool it. And there's no way to add a cooler. I mean, I'm sure I can jimmy rig something. Maybe I'll put a CPU cooler on it or something. I don't know. But in the end, it sucks and you can't make it happen. Hello?
Look at this cool thing I made.
Come here. What did you make? That's what you're interrupting for, huh? This little Lego thing with like a satellite dish for a bumper?
Yeah, and there's even a wheel.
There's even a wheel. Thanks, Gibson. I'm just saying bye to my audience. So if you guys have any idea how I can fix this Fury, I don't know. I might try and... The thing is like, even if I want to try and fill it again, I can't because I have to power it somehow with the card, but you can't power it with the card. I'd have to like go in here and find like where the 12 volt is or the whatever 5 volt and splice in some sort of power source for it. Like that might be the only way to do it, but then it's too much work, unfortunately. So I'm at Watch Timmy Joe Instagram, Twitter. You can tell I'm mad because I spent like 4 or 5 hours today. It's nighttime. Usually I do this when I'm home alone and there isn't a dog and I'm fighting underneath and my son underneath the table. So I'm at Watch Timmy Joe Instagram, Twitter. If you have any idea how I can fix this, comments below or me at timmyjoe.com. But in the end, I'm just got a pile of Furies on my desk and no way to use them. So yeah,
I'm right there. Right there.
Okay, thanks guys for watching. I'm tired of this Fury situation. I'm furious! I'm furious. I'm furious! See you guys in another video.